Hello, my dear friends. So, welcome to this new class. I hope you are already come in terms with this online class because there is no other way. And let us make use of maximum to learn and to get equipped with enough and more knowledge so that whatever may come, you may be able to face the the future and face the exams anytime. So let us be ready, not lose our time, but let us have the will to do and to study. And let us come to the class. Yesterday I was talking about the factors of production. Mainly the three, we can say: the land, the labor, and capital. And capital, we said there are two types of capital: fixed capital and working capital. So you already know what is land. For example, to start a business or to start a production, we need a factory. Therefore, we need the area, we need the land to set up the factory, the building, all that. So land is required. Without land, we cannot think about producing anything. Then we need labor. We need people to work. Just making a factory there, making a building there, nothing will start production. People need to be there. Labor should be there to work. Then we need capital. For the people to work, there should be something. Building alone is not enough. So the land alone is not enough. We need so many things. We need building, we need machines, etc. So many things are required in the factory to produce. We need a lot of machines. Many machines are there. And nice building should be there. Furniture should be there. All that should be there. All that will be called fixed capital. We call them fixed capital because we can use them again and again. After using one time, it does not get spoiled. We can use them again and again. That's why it is called fixed capital, because it is going to last for many years. Then another type of capital is called working capital. Working capital means the money that we need. If you want to start a production, in the beginning you need a lot of money, and you will get back the money after producing the things and selling in the market. You get back your money, but till then you need to invest a lot of money. So that money is called working capital. So with that money we need to buy the raw materials, the things that are used for producing. The raw materials are required. Then we need to pay a labor charge. We need to give them daily wage, or we need to give them salary. So we need a lot of money to buy the machines, to make the buildings. We need a lot of money. So all that is called working capital. So the money that is required, or the raw materials that are required, all that is called working capital. They are called working capital because without that we cannot begin the work. If they are there in our hand, if raw materials are there in our hand, if money is there in our hand, then we will be able to start our work. Then another important factors of production is human capital. You may be able to understand what is human capital. So all these works are done by human beings. The labor, the making the fixed capital, all that. So human capital, we can say it is the ability of the person, the intellect of the persons. His thinking capacity, his planning, his vision, all that is called human capital. So how do we acquire human capital? Can we go and buy from the market, or can we borrow from somebody? Where do we get this human capital? So it is acquired knowledge. It is by learning. So we we are studying our daily lessons. We read lot of books. We watch TV. We read books. So many things we do, and we get a lot of knowledge. We get a lot of ideas, and that is how we develop human capital. So a person who reads more, he will have more ideas. A person who watches how others are performing things, he will also have lot of ideas. That is how the scientists, the great engineers, they are all coming up because they have learned, they have studied. So human capital is important. A person without any knowledge, a person without any idea will not be able to produce anything. If he starts a business, or if he starts a production center or a factory, it will be a totally failure because he has no idea. He has no human capital. Therefore, the idea or the intellect is very important in order to be successful in producing things. So that is why we say human capital also is important. So all these together, they are called factors of production. So in order to produce anything, industrial production, we need all these things. So even if it is the farming, a farmer also require all these things. He needs paddy field, he needs land in order to plant the paddy, harvest paddy, thresh the paddy, he needs labor. Then he needs money to buy the capital. For example, he need to plow, he need to buy tractor, he need to buy spade, he need to buy sickle. Lot of things are required. So he needs working capital for buying all these things. And after buying all these things, the spade and the tractor, all those things, that will become the fixed capital. Then you need to have human capital. That means you should have idea about how to do farming. A person who has never done any farming has no idea about any farming, and if you go for farming, it is going to be a total failure. He is not going to be successful. So first he need to have idea in his mind. He need to learn nicely, he need to read books, he need to ask others how to do. So get enough knowledge about farming. That is human capital. So all these things are needed in order to produce something, whether it is in the industry or whether in the farming, whatever may be the sector, he needs to have a lot of idea, a lot of knowledge. Then only he is going to be successful. So that is about the factors of production. So we need to organize all these factors. Four factors are there, and we need to organize all these things. And the best way, one who organizes it in the best way, he will be more successful. He will be getting more profit, or he will be able to produce more. A person who organizes less or the least, he will be less successful. So the better the organization, better the success, better the production. So one who has got higher human capital will be able to organize better. Now let us come back to the village that we were mentioning about in the last class. I hope you remember the name of the village, Palampur. And we said there almost 80% of the people have got land, and they are depending on the land cultivation. And some of them are rich, they have got good, nice houses. Some of them are poor, they live in the mud house and so on. So we said most of them are depending on the land, on cultivation. And let's see how do they manage their cultivation and the land. From where do they get land, or what land they use for cultivation, and so let us see. And we know in the village the land is fixed. The land is fixed. We cannot stretch out the land like elastic, like a rubber band. We cannot pull. No. So it is, the land is fixed. Maybe some places forest area is there, so cut down the trees and make agricultural land. Again, that is not good for environment. We need forests also, we need trees also. So the agricultural area is fixed. We cannot expand it. Maybe some useless wasteland is there that it can be converted into cultivable area. That may be possible. But as a whole we can say the land is fixed. So if the land is fixed, but what about the people? The land is fixed. But what about the population? Is it fixed? It is not fixed. The population is not fixed. Population is increasing, and therefore the need for food also will increase. The land is fixed. The amount of land remains same. It cannot be increased. But the number of people are not fixed. It is increasing year by year. So if the people are increasing or the population is increasing, what do we need to increase? We need to increase food, because people need food. We need to increase food. So how to increase the food? The land is fixed, land cannot be expanded. If we can expand the land, then we can cultivate more area and get more food for the people. But here the land is fixed, we cannot increase more and more. So what is the solution? Or what is the solution that is ahead? So what can we do? So what we can do is we need to cultivate, improve our cultivation. So how can we improve the cultivation? We can use different methods for cultivation. For example, normally people cultivate only once in a year. People who are depending on this monsoon rain, they can cultivate only in that time. One before the monsoon, and after the monsoon it will be too dry and the people will not be able to cultivate. So normally they have only one crop. But in Palampur we said it is a well irrigated area. They have got tubers, they are able to pump water and so on. So with the help of water they are able to cultivate more times. Not one time, but some are able to cultivate 2 times and some are able to cultivate 3 times. So the land remains fixed, the area of land remains same, but on the same land we cultivate again and again, because one crop does not need the whole year. They don't need the duration of the whole year. The crop may last only 3 months or 4 months. After that the land is remaining simply waste. So instead of allowing the land to remain waste, what do? We cultivate several times. After the first crop is over, we do the harvesting and then we sow the second seed. And then we don't have rain, so we need to irrigate. We need to pour water. And after that again there may be time, 2-3 months more maybe there still. So cultivate another one, a short crop which can get matured within 2 months or 3 months. So that way we need to do the planning, and that way we can improve the production. So the land remains same, the area of the land remains same, the population is increasing, and the food also need to be increased in this way. So this is one way of growing more food from the same area of land. We must have heard about land, hectares. 1 hectare means 1 square. So if it is a square, one side will be 100 meters. This will be 100 meters. This will be 100 meters. So a square with all the sides 100 meters each, that is called 1 hectare. 1 hectare area means a square area which is all the four sides having 100 meters each. That is called a hectare. So you will be able to more or less measure your own area, the area that we have here, the area that the compound that you have in your house, how much area, how much land you have at home. All that you will be able to measure with a tape, easy tape, how many meters long it is, or the four sides. So you can just measure and find out by yourself. You can say how much land you have. So we said about different types of production, that is to increase the food production. I'm sure you must have heard about the Green Revolution. Have you heard about Green Revolution? So it was in the year 1960s. So when India got independence, everything was in shambles. People were not educated. There were no industries. The farmers were just minimum. They did not have any modern technology. They did not have any equipment. They were mostly doing with manually most of the works, and therefore their production also was very poor. So the population was very high in India, and the little food that was produced by the Indian farmers, that was not enough for all the people of our country. So government decided that they must go for a revolution called Green Revolution, and that is introducing new methods of cultivation. In the farm, new machines will be used. Instead of digging with the spade, they will be using tractors, and they will be using good variety of seeds. It is called HYV seeds. HYV seeds. High yielding variety of seeds. So normally people are using their traditional seeds, which is not able to produce much. The production of the seed is very minimal. It is not able to supply for everyone. So if you use this high yielding variety of seeds, it will be able to produce more food, and it will be able to give good harvest, and that will help us to get more food for the people. And also government provided fertilizers, then pesticides, then irrigation. So all these things are also required when we use HYV seeds. So in the normal conditions, without water, without pesticide, without fertilizers, the high yielding variety of seeds will not be able to grow. It will not be able to give good harvest. So government provided all these things, fertilizers, then pesticides to attack, to kill the germs and worms, all that, and also irrigation, because these high yielding variety of seeds need lot of water. Therefore government provided water supply as well. So because of all these efforts, it was very effective. People began to get good harvest. The food production level in the country began to increase, and that gave more satisfaction to the farmers, and the people were able to get self-satisfaction or self-sufficient in providing or producing food for the people. So this producing food we said in the land we can cultivate several times. In the case of the Palampur village, they were cultivating 3 times in a day, in a year. So first they will cultivate one, second they will cultivate another crop, and third they will cultivate another crop. So in the same land, cultivating different crops one after another, that is called multiple cropping. So people were doing multiple cropping. That is how they made use the land maximum. They were not allowing the land to remain simply any time. Always something they were cultivating. So one after another, the whole year they were cultivating, and that way they were able to produce more than what they required, and they were able to to sell it the extra products in the market and get more money for them to meet other expenses, other needs for the people. So that is how people were growing the crops in palampur. They were, what method they were following? They were following the multiple cropping system, and that way it was able to increase the production, we can say, in our country. If you look at in our country in the year 1950, in the year 1950, the area that was cultivated was only 120 hectares. In the year 1950, in India, only 120 million hectares were cultivated. But when it reached in 2010, it became 140 million hectares. So the area of cultivation increased. That means a lot of land was laying down waste without cultivating. Maybe because it was too dry. So government provided irrigation and that land became useful. For some places maybe it was not having any manure, so government provided fertilizers, and with the help of fertilizers they were able to cultivate. That way 20 million hectares more increased within the span of 60 years. That way more land was made use for cultivation. So government used this method. So in order to increase the production, government is propagating two methods. One is multiple cropping, that is to plant crops one after another, and second one is use the modern equipments or use the modern methods, that is using the high yielding variety of seeds together with pesticides and so on. So all the times what were the people using the manure? They were not using chemical fertilizers, they were not using pesticides and so on. So they were using cow dung and other natural manures. So they were not using any chemicals. So that's why the production was not increasing. But now government started providing this high yielding variety of seeds, and together with that government provided irrigation, water, pesticides and fertilizers, all that, and with that the production began to improve and lot of things were produced. Then, and this I was talking about the Green Revolution, and that was mainly tried in the North India, Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. These were the places there are a lot of farmers are there, those who are cultivating in large scale. So government tried this, providing these modern methods, high yielding variety of seeds, fertilizers, all that, and the farmers were very successful, and that is called Green Revolution because it is connected with agriculture, and agriculture, you know, everything appears to be in green, and that's why it is known as Green Revolution, and it was very successful, and the production improved in our country. The production increased very fast, and that way it was a very good thing for the people of India to have self-sufficiency, to achieve self-sufficiency in food production and provide food for the people of our country. Then, because of that, we can see the production in our country has increased a great lot. So in the year 1965, the production of pulses, it was 10 million tons, 10 million. Then production of wheat was 10 million. So production of pulses 10 million and production of wheat also 10 million. That is in 1965. But when it reached in 2013 and 14, in 2013, the production of pulses became 19 million tons. So after how many years? So we can say after 53, 45, 55, 58 years, the 10 million increased to 19 millions, and the production of wheat increased greatly. It became 96 million. Before it was just 10 million, and now it has increased to 96 million. So that is all because of this using modern methods and using multiple crops. That is how the production increased greatly in our country. So that way we can say we have achieved that food sufficiency in our country. We are able to have enough food in our country. But nowadays people are using too much fertilizers and insecticides, and so it has spoiled the soil, the quality of the soil. Again the production is coming down. Therefore we need to take care, we need to use biomanure instead of using fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. We need to use biofertilizers which will keep the soil more natural and help to produce more. So that is also very important. While trying to produce maximum, we should not spoil the soil. We must also keep the soil in good condition so that the coming generation, for the future also, we can use this soil in a good manner and will be able to eat healthy food. Otherwise all the food that we eat will be full of chemicals and people will get sick and they will have to spend a lot of money for treatment and they will have very bad health and so on. So we need to keep in mind that when we try for development, when we try to achieve self-sufficiency, we should not go against the nature. We should not spoil our health. We should eat good food, not the contaminated food with the fertilizers and so on. So we need to have good food. That is also very important. So let us wind up today and let us learn in the next class more about how to achieve this, how to achieve good crops or good production in our country, what are the things required and so on. I hope you understood and listen nicely the video again and again, and then if you have any doubt you can contact me. So have a nice time.